Good afternoon from Big Sky Country. I'm Stacy, owner of Montana Used Bricks, and today I'm going to talk to you about why I sell used parts versus new parts. I sell used parts, and that shouldn't come as a shock considering the name of my store is Montana Used Bricks. Montana Used Parts. Okay, so sometimes I forget the name of my own store. Anyway, recently I saw some Lego YouTubers talking about the classic Lego box of 1,500 parts at Walmart for 40 bucks. And honestly, I didn't believe them. So the last time I was at Walmart, I ran over to the Lego section and the Lego YouTubers weren't lying. I got this set for $37.97. So I'll be able to add some more new parts to my store. But this got me to thinking, now would probably be a good time to discuss why I sell used parts versus new parts. And the reason for this is that's just the way it happened. Well, sort of. As I explained in an earlier video, I started selling on Bricklink to sell some of my son's extra parts so that I could buy parts to create some of the sets he had as a child. That, along with some eBay boxes that I had bought where I'd taken out what I needed and I wanted to sell those extra parts. And pretty soon I was just selling used parts on Bricklink. That was until one day when my husband and I were in Target and we happened to be there on a day where they still had a bunch of Lego sets on clearance. So we stood in the aisle with our phones, looking at the price on Bricklink, figuring out the part out price, figuring out the per part price, and just figuring out if it would be a good opportunity to start on selling new parts. And it was. So we picked up a bunch of sets, brought them home. My husband got a whole bunch of them into our inventory, and thus our little small new parts section was born. But the thing is, I live in a small town, so access to getting Lego sets on sale or clearance is limited. And now that a couple of the stores have gone out of business, thank you very much Kmart and Shopko, we are pretty much just limited to Target and Walmart and maybe one or two stores that will occasionally have Lego, but not always on clearance or on sale. And since I don't have access to a lot of new sets that are on sale or clearance, I've pretty much just stuck with selling the used parts. So maybe you're trying to determine whether you should sell new parts or used parts in your store, or maybe even a combination of both. Here are some things to keep in mind. Putting used parts into inventory is very time consuming, and that is not an exaggeration. But if you're somebody who doesn't mind mindless, tedious work, then putting used parts into inventory might be for you. Used parts, for the most part, have a higher profit margin. But if you factor in the time it's going to take to wash, sort, organize, and get those parts in inventory, it may not be such a good profit margin. If you consider doing those things in your downtime a labor of love, then it might be worth it for you. And that's pretty much how I look at it. It's a labor of love. It's my stress relaxation after a bad day, and it's just something I enjoy doing. New sets are much easier to part out, and it takes a fraction of the time that it takes to put used parts into inventory. As I said, I don't have access to a lot of stores that sell Lego, but if you live in a larger city, have access to a larger city, or maybe you travel to larger cities for work, you may have the opportunity to pick up a lot of Lego sets on sale or clearance. So selling new parts may be the way to go for you, but it's something you're going to have to just kind of feel out for yourself. Maybe you'll want to buy some new sets and buy a bulk lot of used parts and do both and see which works for you. Maybe a combination works. Maybe you enjoy doing the used parts, or maybe you like the fact that the new parts take less time and gives you more time to do other things. I find getting bulk lots of used Lego is a lot easier for me. All I have to do is go online, and there's plenty of auction sites that sell bulk lots of used Lego. Plus my friends keep an eye out at the local garage sales and they'll give me a call if they see Lego at a garage sale. I have even picked up some Lego related items at the local thrift store that I could put into my store. What you sell in your store is totally up to you, and it really depends on your personality and what you have access to. If you have access to those big stores, go for it. Buy the new sets and part them out. If you like doing the online auctions or you have access to bulk lots of Lego parts, then that may be the way for you to go. On a side note, let me talk a little bit about sets versus parts. You may notice in my store that I don't sell a lot of large sets. All the sets that are for sale in my store are generally the collectibles, poly bags, or brickheads, or small creator sets. The reason for this is the shipping. When you have large sets, when you mail those, you're going to want to put those large boxes in even larger boxes to ship them. So now you have large boxes of Lego that you have to store, large boxes to put the Lego boxes in that you need to store. And as I've said before, I have limited space in my shop, so I don't really want a lot of that. Plus, what I found out is when people do a quote on a large set and you give them the shipping charges, it's generally sticker shock and they won't be back. So after a couple of times of getting quotes and having people back out, my husband and I talked about it and we decided to pull all the large sets out of our store, and eventually we'll just part them out and use the parts in our new parts section. There are a lot of Bricklink stores out there that do sell the larger sets, so if that's something you're interested in, what I would suggest is go to their stores, look at their terms and conditions and their shipping charges, and see how they have it set up, because maybe they have something that they're doing that I missed when I was trying to do it, because it really wasn't something I was interested in, so I didn't do a lot of research on it. For me, selling used part is what works because of access. Had I had access to new sets, then possibly I'd have more new parts in my store. But for me, I really enjoy the whole process of getting everything organized and getting everything into inventory. Not only that, but I might be just a little bit addicted to the bidding process on eBay. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for taking time to watch my video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.